Batgirl issue 43, Cecil Castellucci writing with Cian Tormey on the art. So this I did not expect this at all. I mean, I could have read the solicits, admittedly, and expected it, but I didn't. So this is a sequel story to the last arc of the Titans book, which
I didn't read.
Yeah, which you didn't read. And this is the weird thing, Matt, is early on in this issue, they showed this like writer and they were talking about how he was making this world, and I was like, this seems a lot like that Titan story. And then the very next page had an editor's note saying this was in. I was like, oh, it is this thing? It's exactly that thing from Titans.
No, I immediately remembered that because I remember it was Tales of Unearth, and I liked that stuff in Titans. I thought it was a lot of fun, and he's essentially George R. R. Martin. And this might be the first thing that Castellucci's written that I outright didn't like.
Yeah,
I thought it was messy.
See, I'm different than you, Matt. I thought that was easily the worst part of that Titans run, was that last arc.
Yeah, no,
I didn't like it. So I felt kind of rough with this as soon as it became clear that's what it was doing. And I don't know, it's so weird because this has nothing to do with Titans, this book.
No, but I don't mind the story. I mind the execution. It feels like a jumbled mess at times. It wasn't fun to read.
It's clunky. There's so much dialogue and boxes.
Yeah, and the lady that he's going after, that was his editor that inspired him. She's like, what is all this stuff? And then as soon as she gets there, she's like, oh no, I'm queen now.
Yeah, she flips. She flips instantly and is like, okay, if you're going to prove yourself and we're going to be together now, then they go do this thing.
There's a page early on. It starts with Babs reading the book in the bath, and just look at the amount of text on that page. There's so much, and it doesn't flow that well. It just feels like a chore.
I mean, that's fair. I don't think it seems that bad though compared to some other stuff.
I made a Twitter comment last night that I was trying to catch up on my books while watching the NHL All-Star Skills competitions, and I kept getting distracted. This was the book I was trying to read. And so yeah,
that's fair. Because I actually think some of the last arc was wordier than this, to be honest.
Yeah, but I had that problem in the last arc as well.
Yeah, but the difference here is that I didn't like the story here, and it was
Oracle stuff.
Sometimes I love when they bring stuff back from another book that's just kind of weird and random. This was one where I'm like, I didn't like it that much in the first place, but it's becoming it's not just like it's kind of connecting to it. It's not like in Titans when they brought like Ben from Supergirl in, right? This is actually becoming the main plot of this arc. So I left this issue feeling like, oh shit, this is going to be the arc now. This is going to be like 5 or 6 issues I don't like that much. Oh well, I guess.
Yeah, I like the fact that they introduced that Babs would want to read these books and that she's going to become an expert in them. I like that's because that's how Ben helped the Titans defeat this, in that arc. And then it just goes into him manifesting his powers in making a castle on Earth, and then making an unbeatable dragon. So Jason, that feeds off Jason's fit.
Not forget Princess Bride Nightwing.
Yes. Yeah. Because Babs basically in her head it's like the embodiment of like the two.
Which I like the idea of that of her like, oh no, I don't want a boyfriend right now. Like I'm fine and by myself, but am I? I like the Castellucci's addressing that struggle, right? Like it's not just, oh well, now she's into Jason, Just the rest of the execution of this, I don't mind fantasy stuff, right? I'm not like Pete where swords and dragons get involved and I check out.
I downright like fantasy stuff. That's a plus for me usually. And
then you introduce Batgirl to that, and I'm like, okay, this could work. And this was a chore to read. I didn't like it. I didn't particularly like the art either. Like the art's not.
It's fine. I don't hate it. It's fine.
I don't feel it matches the genre of fantasy.
That's fair. I didn't have too much problems with the art myself, admittedly, but for me, obviously, I'm not a big fantasy guy, which is probably a first hurdle for something like this. I think the bigger problem for me is that it's just such a different genre of story for Batgirl that it just feels so out of left field. Like starting this issue and being like, oh, we're doing like weird made up worlds that she's going to travel into.
It doesn't feel like a Batgirl story.
No, this feels like something you would do with, I don't know, like maybe Wonder Woman, but definitely something like Justice League Dark or something like that would maybe be more suited to like a made up world story. Doom
I started
Patrol.
thinking about Unearth.
If you want to do it with someone younger still.
Sure, yeah.
No, I do like the idea of Unearth becoming like Mira, right? Where it's this world that's made up only in this guy's head, and that has this weird power, right? Because he's from our Earth, but Unearth isn't, right? And that because of the metal vibration, whatever, it gave him those powers. So I like the idea of it existing in that imaginary realm, but again, I don't.
The idea of it, this world of stories, and you can get really meta with that. I like that in concept. Obviously, I didn't read the Titans, so I don't know if it was executed better there. In this, I just downright
no. Well, in the Titans, he was just the maker, right? He's the creator,
right?
And he goes in there and basically whatever he wants to do. And here, I like the idea that he's bored and that he's been trying to create women. And I also like that Castellucci throws in there like, oh yeah, the women are always underwritten in these books, and so that's how they appear. That's why he's even bored with them there. That he needs the one woman he was in love with
and they're all based on the woman he wants, but they all come out as 22s as opposed to like the 60-year-old that she actually is. They're all...
Yeah, and he goes, it's unfulfilling. So again, there's stuff I like. It's just not executed at all, and it's I don't know.
It's a shame because I've been enjoying the run and Batgirl's been consistently good. Yeah. So this is the start of Rebirth, honestly, and I feel like after this issue, I'm like, well, I'm going to not like the next 5 now, probably.
I'm hoping this is just like a 2-issue arc.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to check April solicits. See.
Yeah, check that because if I remember right, there was that one that they had to rewrite.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Batgirl 46 in April. It says after a fight with Catwoman last issue, Batgirl thinks Selina is
all right.
Statues,
I think this said
so.
And I also think at the beginning it says part 1 of 2. So maybe this is just a little interlude.
Okay, in that case, I feel better then. One more bad issue is fine. I can live with that.
It doesn't say part 1 of 2 at the start in the credits. It just says part 1.
But if she's fighting
PG Domenico is coming back regular, so I think it's just to give him a break.
If she's fighting Catwoman in March, then it means this story has to wrap up in February, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Fine. Fine.
Yeah.
Alright, what are you giving it, Matt?
This is a 4. I did not enjoy my time.
On Matt's scale, I was expecting higher than that, but fair enough. Connor?
I'm giving it a 3.5.
Yeah, I'll go with a 4. 4 out of 10 from me.